This screencast is going to be about buttons. We're in Adobe Animate right now, and the first thing I'm going to do is go up to New File and create a new window. You see this window opens up and you have all these selections. What we're interested in is character animation, and we're going to use 1280 by 720, and we're also going to use HTML5 canvas because the web today is HTML5 canvas. ActionScript has its uses, but they're very limited. And basically, the only people that will be able to see an ActionScript movie will be people that have Adobe Flash Player installed. And when you have Adobe Animate installed, you get Adobe Flash Player. So I'm going to create this and close out of this, close out of that. And I'm going to go to Modify, Document. And here's where you see your frame rate. 30 frames per second is great. And here's your stage size. You could change it here. And here's your color. I'm going to change to a blue. Next, I'm going to create some layers. I'm going to create 4 layers. And also, I'm going to go to frame 100, or it might be 101. Hold down Shift and select the lowest layer, and then go right-click and do Insert Frame. On a Mac, I think you'd be doing Option-click. So I've just created a timeline. I will call this graphic, and I'll call this. So I have this. As right now, I'm going to create a button, and it's going to be a robot button, and I'm going to change the color. And I have the button layer selected, so this is where it's going to fall. It's probably not going to be the best looking robot. Okay, so next what I'm going to do is select this with the pointer tool, up here, the pointer tool. And I've selected that. I'm going to go to Modify, Convert to Symbol. When you convert to symbol, you get 3 different choices. You get a button, you get a movie clip, and a graphic. We're interested in the button. So I'm going to call this robot in order to keep things organized. I don't want to. Okay. So now you see up here in the top right, in the library, you have this robot. So I can delete this. So this means I can take this button and take as many out as I want. So this is one way of saving file space, because you can reuse symbols in Adobe Animate. But in the case of buttons, I could have 100 of these same buttons. So I need a way to communicate with them. It's almost like you had a real robot factory, and you're standing out on the loading dock, and you're looking at a parking lot full of 100 robots, and you want to communicate with one robot, and you really don't have any way to do that. Well, the way to do that is to select the actual button, come up to Properties, and you have an instance name. So here's where I can make a distinction. And it's always best not to use spaces, and use camel case, use a combination of uppercase and lowercase. So now I have this button has its own instance name, which is important. Now another thing that's going to be important is going to be, right now when this playhead moves from left to right, there's going to be nothing that indicates there was any movement. So at frame 70, what I'm going to do, I'm going to insert a keyframe, and I'm just going to come over, and I'll stick with that color, and I'm just going to make a square. So when I come to frame 70, that's going to show me that I'm there. So the next thing I'm going to do is add right now you're going to have a looping animation. Nothing's going to stop. It's going to go from left to right, to 100 frames, 100 frames, 100 frames. So I want to put a stop in frame 1. So to do that, what I'm going to do is go up to Window and go to Actions. And this is my action window. This is where, if you knew how to do JavaScript or even ActionScript, but JavaScript right now, you could add your code yourself. But what makes it fairly easy is, as you see with this brackets, is you have code snippets right here. And you see you have ActionScript in also HTML5 Canvas. We don't want ActionScript because this was created in HTML5 Canvas. If you used ActionScript, there would be issues and it wouldn't work. So 95% of what you do is going to be right here in this timeline navigation. So here's stop at this frame. So I have my playhead right at frame 1, and I'm going to put a stop in. So you see actions, frame 1, there's a stop. See the grayed out lettering here. This is just basically instructions. It's of no use whatsoever. You can leave it there or you can delete it. What's important is this. So the next thing I'm going to do is go and select the actual button right here. And with it selected, I'm going to go, I've already created an instance name. I'm going to go to frame and stop. If I was going to frame 70 and there was an animation that happened, I might go to frame 70 and play, but I'm going to do frame 70 and stop. So this is the way it comes in. Right here is where you'll change nothing else but this. Change that to frame 70. So now with this button, when it's clicked, it'll go to frame 70. So next is going to be to test. So as you can see, you've went to frame 70. So creating navigation and buttons isn't all that complicated in Adobe Animate. Basically, you have to make sure you have an instance name, you've set up the button properly, and you have a timeline. And also, very important, is something that's going to show you that the actual playhead has moved. If I hadn't put in this square, it would have moved, but nothing would have happened to show that the playhead had moved. Hope that helps. Thanks. Bye.